I just love cooking, and I give me so much pleasure when somebody eat my food and really happy, and this give me the great happiness in my life. I just want to make people happy, somehow. So this is the only way I can make somebody happy, give them best feed.
This is the Deep in the Weeds podcast. I'm Anthony Huckstep. For many in the industry, the dream of owning a restaurant is a big driving force. Inspired by great mentors, uplifting dining experiences, the glamour and rewards of having your own business can hide the energy, commitment, and slim margins that represent the harsh realities. How do you strike that balance between viability and creativity? Ashraf Saleh is the owner and chef of Coya in Sydney's north. Ashraf, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good. You've worked all over the globe in all sorts of venues, but you rolled the dice with your own venue. How different was that compared to working for other people?
It's very different because when you work for other people, you just work and get paid. But when you work for yourself, there's a lot of different dice to play. I didn't realize that. I was thinking that people I work for them, they're making lots of money. But when I opened the restaurant, then I realized it's completely different game ball. Like a mirror has a two side. I'm in the darker side because end of the day, I have to deal with every single sources, delivery driver to the tax department, to the staff everywhere. So it's really, really hard, but it's learning.
How different has it been for you creatively? Has it been a really good outlet for you having your own business compared to working in other venues?
Yes, it's freedom. And I can be creative. I can do things I want to do it. And they give me lots of mentally inspire me. So I can do I do tasting menu in Coya. And this is only things I do. And the people love it. And then I'm busy because word of mouth, people keep coming back. They bring their family, each family to other family. So doing your own business really hard, but it's rewarded.
Well, let's go back to way before you had Coya. What sort of role did food play for you when you were a kid in your family?
Okay, so I grew up in Middle East, and then Middle East, the women always cook and men work. So I always stay with my mom, and I see they cooking this whole day and smell the flavors, the things we eat. It's not like you guys eat in Australia. It's braising meat and lots of vegetable things, the beans and lentils kind of things, because Middle Eastern climate doesn't grow any fresh vegetables, so we have to get from overseas. I'm talking about the early 70s and 80s. But I create lots of my mom's flavor to my cooking, and I make it my own way, modern way, the contemporary way. And I love those old-fashioned cooking technique.
Take us back there. Is there a couple of dishes from your youth that you remember that you've given a new life to that you can tell us about?
We eat lots of meat, so like a off-cut meat, like a beef cheeks and brisket and short ribs kind of things. It's cheaper cut of meat, and there's always lots of flavor. And we have the one dish called kapsa. This rice cooked with meat, cooked with rice, and this similar to Indian biryani, but there's a different flavor. We use black limes and black cardamoms, lots of tomato, packed lot of flavor, and this meat get braised for many, many hours, and they put rice on it and cook through on it, and the huge big dish, really, really exciting this dish. I always remember to my childhood and these things I always want to cook.
What lured you to a career as a chef?
This was my dream to become a chef. I started working in the Sheraton Hotel in Saudi Arabia, and then I moved to Gold Coast, and I always want to work with the independently, I'm my own boss, because I'm chef told. I learned everything from myself. I didn't work with any name brand or famous chefs. I always stay in the low key, and I creative. So something I want to do it, I just try over and over to get it right. And this way, I always work with the chef, the creative, but not famous. And I love to work with them. And then I have lots of farmer. They create vegetables, and I go to the farmer market. And I like all this colorful stuff. I has a menus. Every single dish has a different colors, and just like a vibrant, like a psychedelic.
take us back to Saudi Arabia. What sort of food were you cooking then?
I normally don't cook much there because I work in the Sheraton Hotel, but my parents used to cook. It's similar to Lebanese food, but this some of them different because Arabs adopt lots of Indian culture, and there has a rice, there has a lots of bread, lots of dips, and we do has a one of the famous breakfasts is called full madamas, like a fava beans cooked for maybe 40 hours with the chickpeas, and there's a like a big flat bread. We used to eat them in the breakfast, lunchtime. Always rice is the main grind day, so a big rice dish with the meat, chicken, and the lamb, goats, also some meat, but not like a fine food or contemporary food. And then late 70s, we start to see different things like American franchise moved to Saudi Arabia, the pizza. And similar to something we have in here, KFC, we call Busta chicken. And then the similar KFC, but we serve with the garlic dip.
In the 80s, you embarked on a journey through Europe before landing in Australia. Tell us about that period of time and what you experienced.
So quite a long time, I worked for one of the royal family in Saudi Arabia, Prince Mamdouh bin Saud bin Abdulaziz. And I used to work as his companion, they called Murafiq. So we went to Paris, London, so many different places. Then I traveled myself and I tried to find a job to work there. I did work so many places in Sweden. Sweden was my favorite place, but food was completely out of my brain. The herring I never eat before. There are lots of baked potatoes, lots of salmon and things. So I never eat before those kind of food because Middle East fishes, they are less popular dish. And then I start to learn eating this herring, anchovies, the tiny prawns, and all sorts of things. Then I moved to London. London it was a little bit better because climate, I don't really like it because it's really cold. And then I back to Paris for a little while. I like Paris so much. Then moved to Morocco for a little while. Then I come to Saudi Arabia. I come to Saudi Arabia, and then I moved to Sweden again. And then when I back to Sweden to Australia, I didn't realize in Sydney was 48 degrees and I wearing like a winter clothes because in December is minus 12 in Stockholm and Sydney was 40 degrees. And then everybody look at me in the airport, say, what's wrong with this guy? Look like a... And we're taking my layer out one by one. And then I just try to adjust how to live in Sydney, no?
Did those experiences in Paris and London and in Sweden and Morocco, did they have an influence on the way you cook?
Of course. Every place that I live, I get something out of it. So I wrote a cookbook, 2019, and the French Middle Eastern cookbooks. So I get lots of like a French technique with the Middle Eastern spice. Because, see, I met people from Ghana, Nigeria, Tunis, Algeria, Morocco, Egypt. So they has lots of different things. But it's just similar to the Arabic food, lots of common items. And then I adopt my own way to cook the dishes, and people love it.
Tell us a little about the French Middle Eastern combination that you've been doing. Is there some dishes that you could tell us about that sort of epitomize that sort of that way of cooking?
So, example, now I change it. We have like a creme brulee I used to make before. So I used to use Turkish delight creme brulee, and then now I use like a 6-course tasting menu as a boussouas of cauliflower with mustard oil. The boussouas is called potato and leek soup, but I change it to my way. So I make it warm, and I don't use any butter or cream, but it's smooth and silky because I use coconut milk on it. And then again, I have a barramundi, but again, use the hollandaise sauce at the moment with the samak puff brain, then wagyu beef. So I just change everything. Like I try to combine French and Arabic together. And that works because the French got a technique, and lots of Arabic spices and things got a really nice flavor. And if I can put it together, just it's great. People loves it.
What led to the move to Australia, and were you surprised about the culinary landscape when you arrived?
When I came in Australia, early 80s, was landed to the Gold Coast. I really like the climate because similar to the Middle East, hot. And the people is really nice because the country I grew up, this is no freedom. I never see a woman lie down at the beach in my life. So, and when I come in, I see something like a freedom, like we don't have like my parents has 2 rooms, one for female, one for male. So we can't be male and female mixed together. We should eat separately. So when you come in Australia, I find them that maybe the right place to live there because I have a freedom. Anyway, after a few years later, I met my wife and we've been married for over 20 years. And she's from Hong Kong and I'm from Middle East. And we have a really milkshake family. I have 2 teenage boys. And both of them, they grow up in Sydney. They're born in Royal North Shore Hospital. So I quite really enjoyed living in Australia. And Australian food culture is really multiple migrant backgrounds. So it's really lots of flavor, lots of technique, lots of fresh produce. You find everything from truffle to the quinoa, everything grow in Australia. So it's really great because migrant bring all the flavor to the Australia, all the vegetables, seed, nuts, and everything.
During your time in Sydney, you were the head chef of some pretty incredible restaurants, the Criterion, Cadmus. Tell us about sort of that period of time. What were the real highlights for you?
And there was because this owner was Lebanese and is very good for me to work with them because they understand the flavor, the spice and things. But it's more like a couple of them more like a tourist attraction place. I work in the Darling Harbour. It's more like a seafood platter and T-bone steak and big size dishes. But people was nice. We met lots of American tourists. They don't care about the food. Just as long as you name them seafood platter, they will order it. As long as the T-bone steak 500 grams, they will order it. But this is like a tourist kind of restaurant. But Khadmas was good, more like a Arabic style meza kind of restaurant. Like we do lots of mezes, plus some of the modern Arabic dish. And it's fun to work with those dishes because the way we cook in Middle East and we cook in Sydney is completely different. I don't know why, because maybe climate, maybe the ingredient, or maybe there's hands. Somebody's hands, they've got a little touch of love. And I still love it, the cooking Arabic food, because it's lots of flavor there if I cook nicely.
You relocated to the lower North Shore and you've spent a lot of your career on the north side of Sydney, but down in McMahon's Point. What was it like cooking in that area?
Well, that was really fun because I used to work this small pub, but everybody used to hang around there. And this pubs, when I started working there, it was like a hamburgers and fries and things, but I changed it. And I started doing the kind of degustation thingy and like a Grange beef, good quality food, and then all the Pacific published. There's all the Woman Weekly magazine. People used to hang around there, and all the Channel 9, Brian Hannison, Stone from the Channel 9, all the high-profile people used to live there. And they used to come in and they used to start to know me very well. And they don't even ask. Whatever I cook, they eat and they really enjoy. It's really fun to meet fantastic people there. And one of the highlights, Mr. Ray Martin from the Channel 9, he and his wife Diana used to come in and eat my duck pasta and sort of things like it. I can cook really nice duck and they used to love it. And the gentleman called Brian Hennison, he's passed away. And he used to love my food. They all coming in. Mike Gibson from the Pacific Publish and his brother, Chris Gibson, they always love my food. So I really enjoy working the small pub and the local oriented, and it's really nice people there.
Tell us about the creation of Coya.
Coya, then end of the 2015, we find this place in Cromer, Northern Beaches. It's really awkward locations. And then I thought, should I open or not? Then I realized I opened. So normally three things you need to open the business. You have to be rich, famous, and great location. But I don't have none of those. But I have a very good food, a reasonable service, and affordable price. And people coming in and they go home, they talk to their friends, and they keep coming back. Because I'm not the big guy. I'm really small, little guy. So nobody knows me. And how it passed was 2017. We opened in November. It's really hard because I don't even know the shop fitters how much gonna cost, and electrician how much gonna cost, and go over budget. So I go broke even before open the restaurant. Anyway, we juggle and we have to borrow more money, and then we open it. And then 2018 it started picking up a little bit, but 2019 was really good. 2018 was almost dead. We looking for sell the house, move it somewhere. We don't know what to do, selling all the jewelry, whatever we have. But 2019, we just flipped the dice and just we made it.
What was the difference in 2019, do you think, that helped the viability of the restaurant?
Because Northern Beaches, LGA is huge, big, and people started talking, you've been quiet? So they keep coming back, and they really enjoying. So we started with the a la carte, and then slowly go tasting menu. Started the BYO. We don't do any more BYO. It started with the wine pouring, the wine fly. So we just improving bit by bit. And people really coming here to experience, not for the, eat and go home.
What is the experience like there that you're giving?
Okay, this is something in between top-notch fine dining and very nice local restaurant. So we provide kind of my way fine dining. So we create the dishes and we do kind of a pouring sauce on the plate, serving something very unique. It's just a whole lot. But simple, elegant, and modern.
What's a real star dish on the menu that sort of talks of where you are at the moment with your cooking?
Okay. We have one dish I remember from my knowledge because last year we calculate it's a king prawns with piccolo pepper puree, a rosemary emulsion with the sumac. This dish I sell 36,000.
Wow.
Since we opened it, but I never took it off this dish from the menu because when I open the restaurant after 2 weeks later, I get bored. I want to take it out and people get really pissed off, say, oh, we just come here to eat prawns. So, and then I don't know how they call them, a signature dish or not. Since then, we never took this one out.
One of the key features of your cooking is the sourcing of quality ingredients. Tell us about some of the producers that you work with.
Okay. I do lots of farmer market. So the Carriage York, North Sydney Market, and there used to be Forest Market, Finches Forest, they closed. So now it's a Beaches Market in Narrabeen. I go to the market. Sometime I drive to their farm because the people, they come to the market, they grow lots of vegetable and things. They're very unique. People don't know how to cook golden beetroot or halloum carrot, yellow color carrot and things. Lots of vegetables look ugly, but for me, it's beautiful. I create them nice dishes and I use them all. And working with the farmer is really great things because it costs me less to buy. If I get from the suppliers, they will charge me $8 a bunch. But I go to the farmer market, they say, okay, this one, nobody buying it. You can have it for $10. So it's a good saving. But again, I know what I want, I get it. But working with the locals and farmers is great relationship because I'm small business, so sometimes I can't buy lots. So they can't negotiate with the price. And we're far away from everyone though.
In 2019, Coya got a lot of attraction from the media and it was a very, very popular restaurant and you'd finally found a viable model. But what sort of impact has the last couple of years had on what you do there? We're going very well until COVID come to our door. So first COVID was
not bad because people was really crazy to save this restaurant, so they don't want to close and go. They order takeaway. 2019 or 2020 was Mother's Day, one of the busiest takeaway I ever make in my life. Because Mother's Day. So we started 11 o'clock and finish at 8 o'clock. Just pick up food, 3 course, 4 course. We make a set menu. They have an oven, they can eat them anytime they like. There was most busiest day. But then just before Christmas, there was Northern Beaches LG lockdown. And there was like a 3 months, Saturday night, Miss Clary, she announced we're going to lock down from Saturday night. So we have a lots of booking and we prep the food and we have to throw all the food in the bin. And then we have to refund the money, the people, they prepay. And some of them really happy to change their booking to the later on date. And some not really happy because they think we just mucking around with them, But we survived this one. Then we come to the last lockdown at the moment. This is way too long, 4 months. And people start getting sick of a takeaway or home delivery ordering. They start to cooking home more. And everything price go double up. So it's just like a hanging day. We still have lots of regulars, lots of good people around, and we survive.
As summer has been going on, have you been getting more optimistic about what the year holds for you and the restaurant?
Of course. I'm very like a kind of guy who don't like to what called failure. I think it's a lesson to learn and move on because this is life, because we're going to deal with it, whatever coming in. I'm very strong. I have a wife who she support me all the way because since we opened the restaurant to marriage to growing, raising the kids, she is always there for me. She does all the paperwork, front of the house, and she's a ultra-marathon runner, so mentally really strong. I got really good support from my family.
What do you love about what you do?
I just love cooking, and give me so much pleasure when somebody eat my food and really happy, and this give me the great happiness in my life. You just want to make people happy, somehow. So this is the only way I can make somebody happy, give them best feed.
Well, we're now in February and there's the whole year ahead of us. What are you looking forward to as the year progresses?
Looking forward to, in March, I'm finishing my second cookbook. And then restaurant-wise, I'm looking forward to people keep inquiring. They try to make bookings, but they're all stuck. What's going to happen if the government going to be reopen whole Sydney or going to be locked down? So just confused at the moment. We're confused at the moment, but hopefully everything going to go well and we're going to be rise again. Just hope.
Well, Ashraf, I've no doubt that you'll come out on the other side really well. We've loved having you on Deep in the Weeds today to hear a bit of your story. Please keep in touch. Good luck, and we'll catch up again soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm grateful to have me.
This is the Deep in the Weeds podcast. I'm Anthony Huckstep. Stay tuned as we take a deep dive into the lives of the incredible people who ply their trade in the food and hospitality sector. Special thanks to executive producer Rob Locke for making this all happen. Follow us on Instagram at Deep in the Weeds Podcast or email us at podcast@deepintheweeds.com.au. Stay safe and be well.